What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and the first ever Trials Progression Guide. Now, this series of guides is assuming that you have cleared Chaos 1 and you're able to complete those Chaos maps. So now it's time to make the transition from Chaos 1 to Chaos 2. And it can be tough, but you just have to keep quite a few things in mind. Now, first off, I went on and I've got 4 heroes set aside here. I've got a squire, a huntress, an apprentice, and a monk. I went through and did 10 Chaos 1 runs and collected all the loot and geared these heroes out. Now, in addition, I took all the gold and all of the defender medals I got from those runs and put them into upgrades, and I spent a few more defender medals, probably another 500 or so. But considering you leave campaign with over 5,000, I didn't think this was too much of an issue. Now, throughout this guide, all of these heroes are going to have 0 ascension points assigned. Of course, it wouldn't be fair with my ascension of 280 right now to assign any ascension points. And although you will have ascension points to assign, I'm not going to use any, and that's going to give you a slight edge over what I'm doing. And as we look through, we see every one of these heroes has 0 ascension put into check. Now, Chaos 2, the first thing we want to think about is what mobs we're going to get. And in Chaos 2, it introduces the cyborg, or the EMP. So it, for the most part, is going to rule out any ground traps, and we're going to want to go all either AoE or projectile. So my plan for this run is I'm going to use the squire with potentially some cannonballs, definitely some squire blockades. You see I've got a couple of Chaos 1 pieces here. I'm going to DPS on the huntress, so I've got a full spread of gear on the huntress. We've got bows, armor sets, everything else. Everything's from Chaos 1 here. And then all I'm going to use on the huntress is the PDT as far as a builder. So I do have one of my best medallions I found in those 10 runs, and I threw it on the PDT here and upgraded it, and I have it sharded. Now also, through the purpose of this, I'm going to be using nothing but shards that are available in the campaign or on Chaos 1, all the way through. I'm not going to use any Chaos 2, 3, 4, or 5 shards, only campaign or Chaos 1. So in this situation, I've got Destruction, which increases your defense power, defense critical damage, and defense critical strike. On my wall, I put in a fortification shard, was it. Didn't throw anything else in. And if I do use any cannonballs, I've got Destruction and defense critical strike in there. The apprentice, we're going to use some flamethrowers. Did the same thing there. Took one of the best medallions I found, threw it on a flamethrower. This medallion has got defense health on it, so I did use a vampiric shard in it, which is available in Chaos 1. I used Destruction and defense critical strike, which is not really extremely helpful, but I was just desperate for another shard to put into that slot. And then I'm going to use some frosties as well, and we're going to leave that completely unsharded. Now for the monk, we're going to use a little anti-air. I got another medallion. This one's completely unupgraded, and we're going to be using Destruction, defense critical damage, and defense critical strike. Now, all of these shards, like I said, are available in either the campaign or Chaos 1, and you will actually end up having just an absolute ton of them through your little ventures through. Now, it is important on whatever DPS hero you're using to have yourself a full set of Chaos 1 gear. So I've got a Chaos 1 piece in every spot, even if I'm not going to be using it, just to make sure that there's no issues with the current scaling that is available. So let's go ahead and hop right on into our first Chaos 2 map. Now, one thing that's very important is don't pick your own map. If you pick your own map, that's considered practice mode. It is not the trials, and the gear that's going to drop is going to be unacceptable. It's going to be really low gear, and the intention of these maps is just to practice them. That way you are capable of doing the trials when you want to. But you are always going to want to click the trials up top and go ahead and start your game. And let's see what map we get here. Now, being this is our very first Chaos 2 run, an important thing to remember is our intention here. I've got no aspirations at all to think that I'm going to win this round. My intentions is to try to complete the first few waves. The reason being is there's going to be drops, and I'm going to get upgrades from those drops, which of course I'm going to use to help me get through the rest of the Chaos maps. So let's go ahead and build this bad boy out. And let's see just how far we can make it. Now we're going to start off, like I mentioned, with some walls. We're going to go one there. We'll go one here. One right about right on that gas valve. Want to make sure that you're able to take advantage of any environmental traps if you choose to. They are helpful, and they're free. And then up top here, I think we'll just go with a blockade right there and see how this does it. Now I want to get some PDTs in place. I'm just going to use I'm probably just going to use one per lane, even though right now at this point it doesn't really matter. Although the poison only stacks twice no matter how many PDTs you have there. Without having the poison spreading or anything, it's not really that big of a deal with only using one, but I'm only going to use one. And then we know we do have a flyer lane here as well, which is right through there. So I'm going to want to put some anti-air in there from the flyers. And then let's get yet another PDT right here to cover this lane. So now we got a PDT on every lane except this one. So let's go ahead and throw one right. Let's go right about there. Sounds fair. Alright, and now, since I'm using flamethrowers and frosties, the reason I'm doing this is not because the flamethrowers are required. I'm doing it because I wanted to stick to the original 4 heroes, and the flamethrower, the PDT, and the cannon are some of the strongest early game towers you can get on these particular original 4. So let's see, we've got what, 470 DU left, so I got actually quite a bit of room for some flamethrowers. So let's go ahead and lay them down. I just remember flamethrowers have reduced aggro, so you can put these kind of wherever you want. They will, you know, they do have the chance, of course, of getting beat down. But by all means, throw them around. The more the merrier. So let's start with 3 right there, and we'll put... I'll actually put a 4th right there. Going to do the same thing on this top lane, kind of spread them out a little. Put one right there to get a little damage in on them up front. And then I'm unsure if these guys are going to get hit. We'll find out. And then let's go, say right there. Let's go with that. That one's probably going to get hit too. But I'm going to put it down and see what happens here. Then we can go one right here for the spawn camp. And same thing, just kind of spread them out throughout the lane. The objective here is not to actually take anything down, but to just spread around some AoE damage. And I actually got way overkill on the flamethrowers. I wasn't watching my DU at all. So let's make some modifications here. That one I think is going to get killed, so I'm going to take it down. See, I like that one. Let's go something like that. And then that will allow us to put, what, a couple more right around in this area. And then that leaves me 70, which is one flamethrower and one frosty. So I think I'm going to sell. I got it overkilled a little down here too. Actually, I only have 3. Let's get rid of that one. That's going to allow us to go 2 flamethrowers and a frosty up top. Now the frosty is very helpful just because of the slow scaling. So once you get a couple of upgrades into that bad boy, it can really help ease the pain a little with just having the slow in the mix. Yeah, let's do it like right on the rail down here. I think that will keep it out of the way a little. And we actually have a little gap on the floor here in between flamethrowers, but that's okay. And then 200 mana left. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade all of my walls. The walls are kind of the basis for every build. So if you don't have everything you can really into walls, your chances of success are much smaller. Now, one important note, a lot of people are confused about how the gear gating and progression gating works with gear. And basically, your gear is only going to drop that's at your level. And that's why it was important for me to have gear on every piece on the active hero I'm going to have out. That way I know there's not going to be any question on what kind of upgrades I'm going to get. However, I want to take it one step further and go ahead and eliminate all those other heroes from the deck. We got one more in there, I think. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so now all we have in the deck is our Huntress, and we can go ahead and get things started. So, like I said, the objective here is not to win, it's to get upgrades. A lot of people don't understand that, you know, this is a gear-based game. Now, yeah, it's a strategy game. Yeah, you have to think and think about your tower placements. But it's all about the gear. So there's nothing at all wrong with your first stretch into a new Chaos bracket losing after, say, 3 rounds or whatever the case is. I mean, that's actually very normal. Now, you want to use everything you got here because, you know, our first time stepping up into the new bracket, this is going to be very challenging. And you want to try to keep an eye on all of your walls as well. And get as many repairs in there as possible. See, this lane is getting a lot of heat there. I got a PDT went down. And a flamethrower went down up top here. So this is definitely my weakest lane right now. Keep a repair on that wall and just do my best to burn everything out. Okay, this wall's getting jacked as well. We're getting there though. You know, use your pet abilities, use everything you got. In the new era of trials, ability powers scale very well with just about every hero. So don't be shy with the ability powers. Get them going out there. Now, alright, I lost, 2 PDTs and a flamethrower. I actually lost 160 DU worth of stuff. So I definitely need to think about my placement a little better. So let's go with, let's put the PDT over here, and I don't think I'm going to have to worry about losing it. And then what do we want to do with another flamethrower here? Gonna have to bust my apprentice back out. And let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's go, hopefully that's far enough out of the way. Could, you know, it's my first time in this bracket with this set of gear, so I could pretty much lose that flamethrower absolutely every wave. Okay, they didn't like the flamethrower right on the spawn, so why don't we go with another one here instead. And then that's going to leave me 40 DU left. And let's see what kind of coverage we got on this one. We got good coverage there. We're actually in good shape with the flamethrowers here. I think we can just go ahead and put a third in up top here. and hope for the best. Let's see. I wonder if it's going to like it. A lot of times they don't like it if it's too close to the spawn, but I'm going to give it a shot. And then I got 500 DU left. Now, another thing that's really important, anytime you got Frosties in the mix, Frosties are different now than they used to be. You see, the default Frosty there is at 65%. So it's going to slow mobs down to 65% of their normal speed. Now, when you upgrade your Frosty, that's going to drop. It's going to go to 58.5%. Let's upgrade it again. That's going to take it to 52%. One more upgrade is going to get it to 45%. I mean, now we're talking. Now we got a real slow in the mix. And I could upgrade it again, but I would rather spend this other 200 on getting some more damage out of some of my other towers. Now, one thing you will learn pretty quickly is flamethrowers do not scale super well with upgrades. So like here, my flamethrowers are doing 11,593 damage per second. If we throw an upgrade on it, it doesn't go up very much, only 1,300 DPS, so it's almost not worth upgrading those. However, when we look at PDTs, PDTs are all about that poison damage, which is down at the bottom. You see the 16,408 that ticks every 1.7 seconds. If we upgrade that, we get a larger amount of value out of the upgrade itself. And let's see, we got 100 left. I think this wall, and that will probably do it. I want to make sure I go ahead and get that apprentice back out of the deck and go just with my 1 DPS character. And this wave loot starts dropping. So we're in a position now to already start scoring some loot. And that, of course, is a good thing. The sooner we can start getting Chaos 2 loot, the sooner, or the farther we're going to be able to progress. Even only getting 1 or 2 upgrades, even if they're blue or green or whatever the case is. You know, when it comes to progression, you can't be proud. You just got to look at the numbers and do the math. And if it's a better upgrade, it doesn't matter what color it is, if it's legendary or blue or green or anything else. Hopefully I'm able to clear this one. This is a tough map to get for your first one. Alright, Skyguard down, so gonna have flyer issues now. Gotta keep an eye out on the mini-map for flyers because I don't have any flyer defense going. Oh, I actually lost my PDT from up here, is what it was. It wasn't a flamethrower, it was a PDT. Oh man, these skellies are just walking right by. Alright, lost a... Now things are getting ugly. See if I can hold this off and keep that wall over there up long enough. Is this wall going to stay alive? Come on, stay alive! And keep your distance. You know, ogres, of course, do their ogre stomp. And we don't want that. The wall is safely going up. So no worries there. Only 2 bads left. So this wave's going to be a good game. And we're going to get a piece of loot. Now, it may not be anything worth a crap, but you guys see the struggle. I mean, a lot of people get discouraged when they come in and they can't instantly beat a map. And it's not expected, because it is 100% a loot-based game. So without the gear, your chances of beating it are much slimmer without using some sort of exploit or cheese. Alright, so what did we get? We got an orb, which we're not going to use. We got a chest piece, which is actually, if it had the right stats on it, it would be a slight upgrade once that piece is upgraded. Now, you look at the one I'm already got equipped. It's legendary. It's got the 703 armor on the top. However, if you look down, this piece is fully upgraded. It's got 30 upgrades available, and I've used them all. So that piece can go no higher. This Berserker's chest that's green would probably scale over that legendary piece there. So let's go ahead and get things rebuilt. Another important thing is, remember, as far as tier 1 upgrades, going from tier 1 to tier 2, it's only 50. So if you've got a tower that's going to take 22 to repair, it may be in your best interest not to repair it and just upgrade it instead and get the free repair. Alright, so we're going to need a squire back. And I think that may be it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get our wall back down there, and we'll throw an up on it. I'll go ahead and get an upgrade on that wall as well. Now here, since I did lose that PDT, or actually I've got 50 left. That's for the Sky Guard. Definitely want to get that Sky Guard back. And that, I think I may go without a PDT on this lane, and instead just manually kill everything. I do have to look at the placement though. I'm not certain that flyers killed that Sky Guard. I think that will help. Now let's go ahead and clear out our deck again and get rid of these additional heroes that are going to hold back our loot progression. Okay, so everything looks good there. Let's throw an up on that PDT. See, we got an ogre coming. He's coming here, so I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade that wall. Then let's take a look up top here. This wall needs some love. Wouldn't hurt to throw some more into that poison dart tower. And why not that anti-air too? So let's go ahead and get this next wave started, and it's basically rinse and repeat from this point. For example, you know, when I went from Chaos 3 to Chaos 4 in this this particular update, I failed, I don't know, I want to say I probably failed maps maybe a dozen times before I completed my first one. When I went from Chaos 4 to Chaos 5, it was significantly more than that. I probably failed maybe 30 or 40 maps before I completed my first one. However, each time I got a couple of pieces of gear, and that, you know, that allowed me to be a little bit stronger and push a little bit harder each time. Sorry, our flamethrower placement is just bad here because they're just getting wrecked, so we're going to want to make some modifications to that. I lost a spike blockade, so this is basically over. We made it to wave 3 was it, and we'll have to look, just kill as much as you can, get some drops on the ground. I'm not seeing anything drop, actually. I want to keep, just keep trying to get the killing going. If you can get the boss down, which I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, it's done here. Ooh, I'm getting lucky on this stun procs, but I just can't get him down. Alright. So there we go. Our first Chaos 2 is a failure. In Wave 3, we lost there. However, let's look around the map and see if there's anything laying. It doesn't look like there's anything at all dropped from the minimap, so that was a terrible run. All we had was a couple of green items. You know, blues, purples, and legendary items can start dropping on Wave 2. That was like I said, that was an awful run there. We got no upgrades, so we will have to try again in the next episode. Now, I'm going to keep going along with these 4 heroes. I'm not going to use any ascension on them to keep it fair, since my ascension is substantially higher than what typical Chaos 1 to Chaos 2 people would be at. And we'll go through and kind of show you how to make the jump up to the next tier. It'll probably take me maybe 4 or 5 episodes to be able to complete a map. Maybe not that many. We'll have to see. But obviously no upgrades that time. I thought I'd do a little better. You know, pushing into the new Chaos tier, of course, like I said, you're not going to win your first map without doing some sort of cheesing. However, you are going to get upgrades along the way. And since it's a loot-based game, that's going to help you push further and further each time. Now, like I said, this particular run, that's a tough map to get on my first one. But, made it to Wave 3 anyway, so not absolutely terrible. Being able to make it to Wave 3 shows me that I'm ready to go to Chaos 2. The reason I say that is since I'm going to start getting loot in Wave 2 on Chaos 2, that means this is the right place for me to be. Because I can go through and fail this map 10 times and make it to Wave 3 to this point right here. And I'm going to get some upgrades. There's no doubt about it. So that will do it for now. Thank you for watching. click that like button and please subscribe. And like I said, I'm going to keep this series going, and we're going to get these 4 heroes all the way from Chaos 1 to Chaos 2 and all squared away. Thanks again. We'll see ya.